The Retro Rides podcast is proudly brought to you by RR Auctions. Register to bid today. G'day everyone, welcome to Season 3, Episode 4 of the Retro Rides podcast. And a big shout out to all the people who caught up in our last step. We had some record numbers watching and listening to the podcast, so thanks very much for your support. We appreciate it. As usual, joining me today is Patrick Jackson, our Deputy Editor, and Josh Wygoda, our sales guru, to talk all things performance, collector and classic cars. How are you guys?
Very well, Cam, thank you.
Very Excellent. Good, very good. I'm a sales guru now.
Sales guru. That's the polite.
Every single time. I like that one though.
Yeah, good. Well, that's the polite description of you, Joshua. Have you guys been out and about and doing anything interesting?
Well, I generally don't venture out in cold weather, so not terribly exciting. Stuck in front of a computer, trying to make the experience on our auction website as good as it can be for our buyers and sellers. So we've got some big news there as well, which we will share shortly.
Good stuff. And Patrick, I know you've been busy, and I've been spending some time under a few cars lately, and doing some service work on a couple of old cars I've got, and chasing parts online and all of that stuff. I just think it's probably a good point to sort of ask, what do you guys think? If I was to say, what's a future classic, or have you got 2 or 3 vehicles in mind that you think are definite future classics, either of you?
I can think of one right off the bat.
Yep.
I thought when he said, I spent some time under cars recently, it was good we were going in a different direction, but okay.
No, not at all. Not at all. What do you think, Pat? What's your hot tip?
I reckon one that it ticks a lot of the boxes for what makes a car kind of have that provenance down the track, which is a bit of motorsport background and pedigree, especially homologation special cars. That's something that always kind of wins a lot of fans in terms of becoming a potential classic. I think Toyota GR Yaris. I reckon that is one of my picks for it, because unlike the GR Corolla, which obviously is still based on the standard Corolla chassis, the GR Yaris it's only a Yaris in name. I think it's something like the wing mirrors and the tail lights are about the only thing shared with an actual Yaris. It is basically a completely different car. Crazy all-wheel drive system in it. Was the most powerful 3-cylinder engine in the world until Koenigsegg built one that blew it out the water. But to be second to Koenigsegg is not too bad, I would say. So I reckon GR Yaris. And it was designed with input from Tommy Mäkinen, who is the GR rally boss. And it's funny because that car has a really similar feel. When you put it in track mode, lock the all-wheel drive system up at 50-50, has a really similar feel to a Tommy Mäkinen edition Mitsubishi Evo. So I reckon that's my pick.
Okay. That sounds like a pretty well-versed tip. Josh,
what was the question again?
Mate, what is the tip for a future classic? Come on, delve into that little brain of yours, and we want to know.
I don't know if this is already a future. I don't know if this is already a future classic. I was going to say MX-5.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, I think that sort of gets into the era conversation, doesn't it? And that's that next era of classic cars. You know, that 90s era and early 2000s. But I'm going to say like a 2008 BMW M3. And if you look at 2008. That was we had V8s in, mid-sized sedans, I guess, from Audi, Mercedes-Benz with the W204 AMG and then the C63, and then BMW coming along with a manual V8 in the which the others. I know Audi did offer, of course, a manual RS4, but Mercedes was automatic only, and BMW came along with a cracking M3. So that's my.
So that's
tip.
That's an E90. Yeah.
E90. Yes. Yeah.
And the 92 was the convertible version of that, wasn't it? Yeah.
92 was the coupe. 93 was the convertible.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Even if you go the automatic version of that, it's a dual clutch, which I think actually works quite well because you've got the naturally aspirated engine, so no turbo lag, and you've got the dual clutch gearbox, so you've got the instant shifts. It's actually like super just sharp to drive. The RS4 of that era with the dual clutch was much the same as well.
I'm warming to BMW. I was always a bit of a Merc guy, as you know, but I have a BMW now. I've got an E39 M5 6-speed manual, and I'm really sort of starting to dig them. And I must say, I was watching some stuff online, and I just thought, you know what? I reckon if I somehow come into a little bit of money in the next couple of years, I think an M3 E90 M3 would be a pretty cool addition to the garage. But there you go. Hey, look, let's talk about the news. So let's go to the news. We've got a bit of an interesting one this week. Patrick has put a story together, and he's discovered that driving a manual car can actually be better for your brain. Patrick, how does that work?
Yeah, absolutely. Team Save the Manuals has finally got one back on the many, many automatic buyers. I can't say I discovered this. I'd like to think I knew it already, but it was actually discovered by a guy, Professor Ryuta Kawashima, from Tohoku University in Japan. This is a translation, obviously, from Japanese, but driving a manual transmission car activates the prefrontal cortex of the brain by requiring simultaneous clutch operation, gear shifting, throttle control, and awareness of your surroundings. And that's something that you're not going to have when you're driving an automatic, right? When you're in a manual, you're constantly thinking, do I need to shift down a gear? Who's around me? All that sort of thing. It's really working your brain a lot harder.
So the people that we see out there are bad drivers and, dare we say, dumb drivers. It's because they're driving an automatic.
I would say in almost every case.
So where does that leave? Where does that leave Tesla drivers then? That's my question. Are they like?
Well, here's the thing. I wonder if for electric vehicles it's going to be even less thought going into it, because obviously they have a lot of self-driving capabilities in them. And then also, even if in a normal automatic vehicle, a lot of them have the paddle shifters and stuff. You feel them going through physical gears. In an electric vehicle, it's one gear. There's literally, it's like driving around in your iPhone.
I feel like we are circling back to the Ferrari Luce here.
No way are we. We've moved on from the Luce.
We've given that enough airtime.
But I think we can confirm that electric vehicle drivers are in fact morons based on the science. No? Seems that way to me. Moving on to other results.
I'm going to get my next car. I am buying an electric car just to prove all of you wrong.
No, I think that just proves my point is what I think that does.
Yeah, I am a moron.
I will say this though, because I get to drive a lot of the new electric cars. I'm fortunate in my job in getting to sample quite a lot of new vehicles that are out there. And I do think that as long as you know how to drive a manual, and you do drive a manual at least on occasion. I mean, my own car is a manual. But when I do get into an electric car or any vehicle, I'm always trying to think a bit more conscientiously about it. So I think that's probably the main takeaway here is, no matter what car people are driving, they just need to be a little bit more thoughtful of it. When you see people, doing the makeup, eating a burger, all that sort of thing behind the wheel, just focus on driving. You're piloting 2 tons of metal around, and it can be,
But surely eating a burger and doing your makeup also activates your prefrontal cortex.
Maybe a different part of it.
I will say my youngest child, who is 18, and my oldest one is 21, the older one being the boy, the younger one being the girl, or the man and the woman. Lily, my daughter, learnt to drive in a manual, bought herself a manual as a first car, and loves it, and was absolutely motivated by the fact she knows her brother can't drive a manual. So, Luke, way to go.
I think we all bought manuals as our first cars because they were cheaper.
Well, you wouldn't buy who would buy an automatic? Back in the day.
I hate to say my first car was actually an automatic. I hate to admit that.
Well, look, I'm going to let you go on that one, Patrick, because you are a little younger than Joshua and myself. I mean, we had the advantage too. We could go and do the driving test in an automatic and then just drive a manual. There was no, like it is today, where if you get your license in an automatic, you can't drive a manual for the first 12 months or whatever it is, and blah, blah, blah. So, we just went and scammed our licenses in an automatic, and then drove manuals. But my first manual was 3 on the tree. Now, most people won't even understand what that meant, but no one was cooler in Newcastle than me in a 3-speed manual lime green HQ Kingswood, let me tell you. I had it all.
You had the upmarket version, not the Belmont.
Yeah, no. I did go to an automatic Premier later, though, which was the slowest car known to man. Anyway, so look, hey, sales, bit of a standout at Barrett Jackson. We saw a Mach 1 Mustang, a Boss Mustang, an original 4,400 miles unrestored car, 69 model, red, black interior, just a stunning vehicle that sold for $950,000 during the week. So, pretty big news on the Mustang front there.
Well, was it purchased by an automatic owned buyer?
No, I don't think so.
Automatic?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Someone who doesn't like Teslas bought it. Pretty amazing result. $1 million US, 1.3 or 4 million Australian dollars. Just absolutely insane money.
It's more like 1.6, I think, at the moment.
Oh, is it? Yeah. Well, it changes
I don't know.
every minute.
My maths is not good.
Right.
It's because I've been driving an automatic for too long.
That's right. So a lot of money though, and an incredible result on a car like that. Well, look, that leads us into Hammer Time. So let's talk auctions with Hammer Time.
Hammer Time.
It's been an interesting month, June. There's no question that Australia is facing some economic headwinds. I think the market overall has probably suffered to a degree. Having said that, we've still seen some good sales across the board, but they're probably a little bit rarer, it would be fair to say, than the normal volume of vehicles. How are you guys finding the market, Josh and Pat? What are your thoughts?
People still want to buy and buy the right cars. I think they're just being a little bit more cautious in their decision-making process, and they're taking a little bit more time than they normally would to make sure that they're paying the right sort of money, except for that lunatic who bought that Mustang. Yeah,
well, I don't know that he's a lunatic, but I'm very envious of him. But yeah, I think look, we sold some good cars this month. That little the Mark 1 former Street Machine cover car that we sold, the Escort.
Escort, yep.
Yeah, beautiful car going to Queensland somewhere, I believe.
Really
solid.
I think.
Yep, really solid bidding on that car. But that was a really unique car. And I think the same with the 57 Chev we sold, that probably at the moment more important than ever is the provenance of the vehicle, the amount of work done, the quality of the vehicle, the finish of the vehicle, things of that. Those quality cars are still shifting. Is that a fair comment?
And I think speaking to the buyers throughout auctions as well, the cars that are still doing the best and still have the strongest bidding and buying activity on are the ones that have that history, but also stock and even minor modifications in particularly on rarer cars are turning the true collectors who are still happy to spend the money. They're just being a little bit more careful around making sure that they're getting something that is basically factory stock with full history.
Yeah.
Definitely. I think I would back that up as well. For anyone thinking about the future classic conversation we were having earlier, keeping your cars in stock condition, or I think probably the only exception I would say to that would be if you've got, let's say, a Type R Honda and you put some Mugen parts on it. If it's something from a really well-respected name, I think that might not affect it as much. But on the whole, I would say cars being as stock as possible is probably the best thing when it comes to this side of the equation.
Even though that Mark 1 Escort did the opposite of that, given it was a fully built car.
But you've got provenance of being on the cover of Street Machine. Plus, it was a really clean build. I got to say, it looked super cool.
Hot, right? So another area of the market that's interesting is number plates, and we talked a little bit about this last time, and the advantages, obviously, that you don't need to have a warehouse to store them in. Josh, what are you seeing in the number plate market?
Everyone says the market's come off a bit with number plates, as with any asset class at the moment. However, we ran our first lot of plates through auctions. We had I think 3 Q plates and a couple of ACT numeric plates. And what we actually saw was relatively strong bidding, and probably beyond my expectations in terms of where they landed. One of the Q plates, which a 4-digit plate, we sold for I think it was just over $43,000 over the last couple of months, or even 12 months. That plate I would have estimated to have sold somewhere between 30 and 35,000. So it still seems like people are seeing heritage or numeric plates as a strong investment, and still prepared to pay the money for it. And we had multiple bidders on all the plates. And speaking to people post auction as well, obviously there will be some more plates going into our next auctions, and there are people that still do want to sell plates and people that want to buy plates. So I think maybe given all the changes and tax reforms that we've seen, maybe number plates are going to make a comeback, because they have been soft over the past, I guess, 12 to 24 months.
Okay, it's all new to me, the number plate thing, and I'm watching it.
Well, I have a question that might help there. In terms of plates, Josh, you'll probably be able to answer this. How much does the actual, number one, the combination of numbers that are on there, how much does that impact value? And number two, how much does the order in a series, so being a lower digit number, say 1,000 versus 9,000?
Yeah, so obviously the lower the number, the better. I mean, obviously plates between 1 and 9 are obviously, it's a scarcity thing, obviously, and they also look better on cars. But it's predominantly the scarcity factor. So the lower the number, generally speaking, the higher the value. There's obviously some nuance between the different states. New South Wales and Victoria tend to have the higher value plates, followed by Queensland, and then I think South Australia is actually starting to make some headway in terms of plate values. And South Australia, you guys have slight variations on what are considered numeric plates with the GP
we've got a few different ones.
Yeah, and Victoria the same. They have things like bicentennial plates, which are worth money. They're 4-digit plates, and they have what they call signature plates, which are also worth money as well. But generally speaking, the lower the number, the better. But then once you start to get into, if you take a 2-digit plate for argument's sake, then obviously a duplicate, so 11, 22, 33 are going to be worth more than 12. 11 would be worth more than 12 for argument's sake.
Yeah.
So I think that the sequence is important, and then the same as you get into higher number plates, 4 digits, 5 digits, 6 digits, the sequence does become even more important. So when you see mirror images of plates, 18881, 8's also an attractive number for investors, for obvious reasons. But there are a lot. There is. It's kind of a bit hard to understand, and some of it doesn't make sense. Like the plates we had the other night, and this makes no sense to me still, and I still can't understand it, and no one can really explain it. The plate that did the best was 6818, which is a higher number than 2818, even though it's a similar sequence. But the 6818 was more popular. And speaking to the people who were bidding on that had some meaning to them. So sometimes things like birth years sometimes do extremely well.
Yeah. Yep.
I wondered whether that might have been what it was that drove that plate up, because it seemed odd to me that the highest number of the lot was the one that seemed to have arguably strongest bidding.
Well, I'm sick. The birth year of 6818, we haven't quite got there yet, so I'm not sure.
Well, unless he was born in 1918.
Again, it's hard. Some of it's hard to pick, but generally speaking, to answer your question in short, the lower the number, the better, and the sequence is important.
Yeah, definitely.
So we've got some plates coming up in our next auction, which it's a change in format for our auctions, Josh. We're going to every week. We're going to be finishing on a Wednesday. Our first auction starts today, being Monday, and goes through till the 15th. What have we got in store for our first weekly auction.
So yes, by popular demand, we are going to be running auctions more frequently and weekly, which I think is probably more exciting for buyers, and also a little bit easier for sellers, for particularly those that want to sell. But we do have some exciting cars in this lot of auction. So we are starting today. There is coming back to what you were speaking about BMWs earlier. We have a BMW 1M coupe manual Aussie delivered car, 29,000 original Ks, full service history. Probably the other noteworthy car, there's a couple of others in there, is a manual Ferrari, as in factory manual Ferrari F430 red over black.
Beautiful car.
That's one to keep an eye out for as well.
That's one for the thinkers out there.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, absolutely. I mean, what a car that is. That's really cool. We've got some great stuff coming up, and I really can't think of anything else to say. But I'm just going to talk for a minute about my hat. And this hat too. Guys, we've got a merchandise store now. You can buy all these wonderful things, and there'll be more and more products coming every week. Looking forward to seeing some people out there in some Retro Rides gear. You just go to the shop icon on the top of the retrorides.com.au homepage. We'd really appreciate the support. It's going to help us keep the podcast going and continue to do what we do, which is support the classic car community with all of our content and everything like that. So, thank you.
And when we actually start to sell some gear, we promise we will get better looking models than me and Cam.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah. Well, I've gone for the blue one this week, but I will tell you, the guys bagged me. They said my head was too big for this, folks, but this one last week.
I still don't think we're wrong.
Yeah, all right. Anyhow, have a Winfield or a Marlboro. All right. Well, look, I think that's about it. Is there anything else that we've missed? Anything we want to talk about? No? No?
Maybe the Smoking Kills campaign.
Oh, yeah, smoking is bad, kids. Don't smoke. Particularly while driving. It leaves a horrible, horrible smell in your car.
It will reduce the value of your car.
But it's good for your prefrontal cortex, is not. It helps.
Well, because then you're doing three things at once.
If you're doing your makeup at the same time. If you don't have a manual, it's the same thing, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Don't forget to be eating a burger as well.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, look, thanks, guys. That's another one wrapped up. As usual, really appreciate the team joining us. Thanks again for your support, and we'll see you soon on another episode of Retro Rides Podcast.
Sorry.
Yes. Look, guys, seriously.
I was holding it together.
All right. I'm going to have a moment here. I can't work under these conditions. If you're not going to be professional, I'll be in my trailer